Hello to all of you, my lovely students in the ninth grade. How are you today? It's me again, your English teacher, Iman Al-Jafari from Ru'al Farouk Academy. Again, as I told you, the title of this unit is It's a Classic. So, in our lesson today, we are going to revise the type of the text. Then, we are going to start reading another part of the text and identify the main elements. Then we are going to define the meanings of some words and phrases. So let's start. So who can remind us what is the type of the text? Excellent. It is an extract from a classic novel. Who can give us the name of this novel? Excellent. It is War and Peace that was written by Leo Tolstoy. In our previous lesson, we read about the important group of people that were invited to the ball in addition to the rest of family. As I told you, the diplomatic corps and the emperor himself were to be present at this party. إذا أشخاص مهمين دبلوماسيين كانوا رح يحضروا هذا الاحتفال برأس السنة. هلا if I ask you to describe the mansion or the palace of the old grandee, excellent, it was blazed with innumerable lights. كان مليء بالأضواء many lights. What else? It was red carpeted entrance. كان المدخل تاعه مفروش بالسجاد الأحمر. Who came to keep this place safe? مين اللي إجا عشان يحافظ على أمن المكان؟ Excellent. Gendarmes, chief of the police and dozen of officers. Okay, يعني كان في عندك gendarmes اللي هم البوليس من شرطة عاديين, chief of the police رئيس الحرس أو رئيس الشرطة, dozens of officers اللي هم الضباط. Okay, the mean of transport that were at that time excellent carriages. إذا وسيلة النقل اللي كانت موجودة في هذاك الوقت اللي هي العربات. Okay, as I told you, from the carriages emerged or came out men wearing uniform stars and ribbons. يعني ظهر من هاي العربات رجال لابسين زي عسكري وكانوا كلهم رتب عسكرية مهمة. ladies اللي هي الwomen in satin and airmen كانوا لابسين الستان والairmen اللي هو الفرو. فهم كلهم كان هذا الإشي كان له دلالة اللي هم كلهم كانوا أشخاص مهمين. all of them were rich people. Okay, cautiously descended زي ما حكيت لك بمعنى excellent, carefully came out or go down from the carriage. Okay, so if I ask you again, what do you mean by emerge from the carriage? To come out, يظهر. Who were invited to the grandee or by the grandee to the ball? مين اللي دعاهم لجراندي لهذا الاحتفال؟ بالإضافة للرست family حكيت لك يا مس اللي هم the diplomatic corps دبلوماسيين and the emperor were to be present. Describe the mansion. اوصفوا لي البalace of the old grandee. Excellent. It was placed by or with many lights. What else? It was red carpeted entrance. Okay. Who came to keep this place safe? مين اللي إجا حتى يحافظ على أمن المكان؟ Gendarmes, the chief of the police and dozens of officers. In the next paragraph, we read about Natasha's excitement because it was her first grand ball. As I told you, her mom and Sonia put themselves entirely in her hand. So, they were nearly ready, but Natasha was late. Why? As I told you, because she was busy in helping her mom and Sonia. The last scene that we saw in this paragraph when she tried to fix the ribbon with Sonia. So if I ask you, the pronoun they refers to, excellent, Natasha, her mom and Sonia. Another one, if I ask you, put themselves entirely in her hand, themselves refers to, excellent, Sonia and the Countess. What do you mean by put themselves entirely in her hands? Excellent, they were completely under her control. Why Natasha or why wasn't Natasha ready in spite of getting up early? ليش هي هلأ مش جاهزة بالرغم من إنها استيقظت مبكرا? Because she was busy in helping everyone. Okay, again she was busy in helping everyone. What do you mean by fasten? I want to fasten this ribbon, it means to fix on, يربط. Dainty finger means excellent, neat and small, to clutch on something to hold tightly, okay? In the next paragraph, we read about Natasha's quick movement from her mom to Sonia in order to get sure that they look at their very best. And we read about the time that they agreed to arrive at the ball, which was excellent 10:30. Then we read about Natasha's skirt. What was wrong with Natasha's skirt? It was too long. And the four maids were busy in helping Natasha turning up the hem. So if I ask you, what time did they plan to arrive at the ball? They planned to arrive at the ball at 10:30. What was the cause of the delay? Excellent. It was Natasha's skirt, which was too long. What do you mean by gossamer? When we say gossamer garment, it means fine and light cloth. Skirt, run fast. I want to inspect it critically. It means to look at carefully. Okay? And now let's start reading the next paragraph in order to know what was Natasha's dad wearing and what happened to her skirt. Hurry up Mavra darling, hand me that thimble please miss. إذا هون تكملة للمشهد السابق when the four maids were busy in turning up the hem of Natasha's dress. إذا هون كنا احنا بنحكي عن الأربع خادمات اللي كانوا مشغولين في تقصير السكيرت of Natasha's skirt. Okay, so what do you mean by thimble? Thimble, something that you put in your finger, الإشي اللي بنحطه بالأصابع while you are knitting or اللي هي making clothes. اوكي، لما احنا بنكون بنخيط هذا القمع الخياط اللي بنحط بالاصبع يسمى thimble. Aren't you ever going to be ready? Asked the count coming to the door. Here you are still perfuming yourself. Madame Bernstein must be tired of waiting. إذا هون بده يدخل الأب على المشهد ويحكي لهم إنه أنتوا you are too late. مدام برنسكاي اللي اتفقوا إنهم يروحوا معها is waiting from a long time. Ready, miss, said the maid, lifting up the shortened tall skirt with two fingers. إذا هون الخادمة حكت لها لنتاشا إنه هي جهزنا لك التنورة and it is ready to be excellent worn. Natasha began putting on the dress. In a minute, don't come in, Papa. So she cried to her father at the door, her face eclipsed in a cloud of tulle. إذا هي حطت على حالها التل of her dress and she asked her dad to stop and not enter and stop entering the room. Okay? Sonia slammed the door but a moment later they let the count in. إذا أول إشي هم منعوه من إنه يدخل على الغرفة because Natasha was wearing her dress. Then they let him in. Okay? He was wearing a blue swallowtail. هلا احنا بحاجة لهاي الصورة عشان نوضح شو كان لابس أبوها. He was wearing a blue swallowtail coat. إذا هون يمس هذا النوع من السوت اللي بيكون البدلة من وراء فيها أطول من الجزء الأمامي. أوكي. stocking اللي هي الجوارب الطويلة and buckled shoes اللي هو الحذاء ذو إبزيم. أوكي. and was perfumed and pomaded. كان شعره مزين. Look at his hair. and perfumed اللي هو معطر. Oh Papa, how nice you look. Lovely, exclaimed Natasha as she stood in the middle of the room stroking out the folds of her tulle. Okay, إذا هي شالت التل عن وجهها and she told her dad how nice he looks. Okay, so in this paragraph if I ask you describe what was the count wearing, اوصفوا لي الملابس اللي كان واصفها الكاونت. Excellent. He was wearing a blue swallow tail coat, stocking and buckled shoes. He was also perfumed and pomaded. What does the verb eclipse mean? When we say eclipse يغطي اللي هي بمعنى to cover or completely covered. Okay? The last scene in our lesson today, if you please, miss, allow me, said the maid who was on her knees pulling the skirt straight and shifting the pins from one side of her mouth to the other with her tongue. You can say what you like, cried Sonia in despairing tones as she surveyed Natasha's dress. You can say what you like, it is too long, okay, or it is still too long. Even in this picture, look at this picture here, we have Natasha and her mom. When Sonia saw Natasha's dress, she told her that it is still too long. إذا في هاي الفقرة بنعرف إنه لما الخدم حكوا لها إنه it is ready to be worn، هلا هو جاهز لللبس. لما لبسته سونيا حكت لها احكي اللي بدك إياه، لكن أنا بخبرك إنه الدرس بعده، الفستان بعده كتير طويل عليكي. Okay, so it need to be shortened again and they have no time. Okay, so if I ask you what was the problem with Natasha's dress، شو مالها المشكلة لحد هلأ في فستانها لناتاشا اللي هي it is still too long، ما زال الفستان طويل. Okay, I will stop here, my lovely students, today. In our next lesson, we are going to read the last scene of this novel in order to know the end of this novel, and we are going to do the first and the second activity from your student book. Thank you again.